Caregiving is hard. Caregiving is rewarding. Caregiving is sometimes where I find my value and self-worth. That part, not so good. I know because I'm Joan Borton and I'm a caregiver. I love my husband and I willingly accepted the charge to assist him with his personal care needs and his day-to-day activities. He has so much to offer outside our home. I want to encourage and support him to be able to do that and share his life with others. But sometimes, without even realizing it, I don a Wonder Woman cape. I begin to get frantic. I start thinking of all the things I have to do, all the things he needs me to do. Then there's all those things I want to do, or he wants to do, and things that, can you understand it? Even just the idea of a few minutes of rest or a few minutes to do nothing. How am I going to get all this stuff accomplished? When I get like that, my hubby often reminds me that he will survive, even if I don't get every one of his needs met. And as much as he loves me and appreciates my care for him, it doesn't all fall on my shoulders. Perhaps you hear that and say, but in my house it does. I'm a single parent, or there's no one else to help my brother or my husband. It's all on me. When I feel that way, I appreciate being reminded that it really doesn't fall on me, that I am not the one who sustains my loved one. That's God's job, and he does it quite well and so far better than I could ever do. What I'm doing is just allowing him to use my hands to assist. That's all. We're in much better hands when we acknowledge that our ultimate caregiver, Jesus Christ, is the one who's providing and caring for us and directing us. When I remember I'm serving God first and my husband second, I gain perspective. Another trick I use is to step back and recall the oft-used analogy from the airlines. When flying with a young person or someone dependent, please put your own oxygen mask on first. If you don't, you may not be able to help the other one you are with. The other thing Jerry does is to remind me that I have to take care of myself. I won't be able to care for him as readily if I don't put my own oxygen mask on first. He can tell when I need to. And even if you do not have someone to remind you about the need for self-care, you do still need it. Self-care doesn't always mean a day at the spa, though if you can, go for it without guilt. For me, daily self-care often means that I just have the freedom to say, you'll need to wait a few minutes before I can help with that, or I can help you with that later this evening, but I'm in the middle of something right now. Sometimes I'll ask, is this an urgent need or can it wait? This kind of self-care lets me finish a task and reminds my husband, the one that I'm caring for, that it's a give and take relationship. It helps me remember that I'm not just a caregiver, and it helps him remember that he's caring for me as well. For many, many years, we chose not to get help outside of our home for any attendant or personal care needs. Slowly that began to change. First, we got someone to help with house cleaning. It was a recognition that I'm not a Wonder Woman and I can't do it all. When it comes to my loved one's personal care, I can be a bit like a mama bear and think nobody can care like I do. I've heard other caregivers say they can't find anybody who will care and do the routine exactly as they do. That's probably true, but that's a heavy burden to bear. God made us to live in community. Not only do we need others, but others need us as well. Allowing others to serve, even if they complete tasks differently than I do, or in a different order, or forget a small detail, it still gives me a break and helps me remember that life does not all depend on me. And it also builds our community. Even on days when I have to change shoes because they were accidentally put on the wrong feet, or position improperly in his wheelchair, it's still a small price to pay to keep my identity in Christ rather than in that Wonder Woman cape.